Well, good evening, folks. Right. Wasn't really going to make any more videos just yet. Puttying up's pretty boring. Certainly not something you want to... something you'd want to video like whilst you're doing it or anything. But just wanted to point out a few things. Made a few mistakes in the process of doing this, and if I was to do it again, which I doubt, I'd certainly do it a little bit different. There's quite a few things I'd change. Main thing I want to point out is I've got that tailgate, boot lid, whatever, I don't know what to call it now. It's not an engine cover anymore. There's no engine in there, but I've got that puttied up, and I put a mega amount of putty in that. I mean, I'd say a mega amount. There's two areas. There's a section here, and there's a section here. This is where I put framework to mount my hinges onto. Now, mistake made was that this lid was already out of shape when I welded them on there. And even though I tried to knock it out, but these brackets are just too solid to move, You try to knock it out in the middle, it just pushes up at the end. I wouldn't even move it all down there. And, so above those two hinge brackets, it's got to be a good 1/2 inch thick, easy. Could even be more. As I said, it's reasonably thin in the middle, it thins right out either side. But there's two sections here, it's really quite thick, and there's a possibility that it might crack down the track too. But I realised how out of shape it was. And because I'd already straightened all this up, welded all this other brace in and got that the right shape, I didn't want to start belting it again, because I knew I'd muck up all this out of shape and again in the process, and I'd have to redo it all. But it's not the way I wanted it. And the other thing is, I'm now sort of starting to wonder whether, because I use so much of it in that, whether I'm going to run short of putty again, because I've still got a lot to do. Even though, like, most of it's pretty thin. There's only a few areas that are going to be thick, like here. That bit's okay. That'll need a bit of, I'll tap that in a bit, I think. But that won't be much. Down here, that's already pretty thick, but when you get below the guard, I'm going to be taking the guard off to finish it. It'll be another 1/2 inch. There's a channel, probably 1 inch or so wide, that's going to be close to 1 inch thick by the time I putty it. There's nothing I can do about that either. It's the point, not without cutting and or re-welding it. Don't want to do that either. The other dilemma I got is I've got this bonnet in shape pretty much. Don't want to change it. Can't really change it anyway. But see how it's sitting down here. That's so that when I get the rubber in, it'll come up to, and I'll have to get the rubber in, or at least a test piece of rubber in before I finish it off, so I know that they're going to be level. But you know, when I do get the rubber in, when it's finished, I want the two surfaces to be flush. But right along here, yeah, well, it's sort of getting close here, but all the way along here it's too low. The other side's not as bad, but see that this should be 10 mil higher than what the bonnet is at the moment, so that when I get the rubber in, they're flush. So I'm going to have to waste a whole lot more putty in here. It'll actually be helpful, because it's still a bit high here. So when I build that up, it'll fix up this problem. But as I said, I'm sort of starting to wonder whether I'm going to run out of putty. I don't want to have to go and buy more putty. Same down here. I did jack that out, but yeah. Look at the shape. Yeah, bonnet does bulge a bit. I'll probably knock the bonnet in a bit, I think. Yeah, to correct that. So, yeah, because I didn't want to build that up either. Down here, I've realised that was too high. I just had to cut that. I'll tack that. I got to knock that down at the moment. It's still a bit floppy. I might even have to put a cut in here yet. I don't know. Hopefully not. But anyway, I'll get this tacked and then I'll tap that down. But yeah, I just realised this was way too high as well. Had too much arch in it, so I've had to cut that, knock it down. I compared it, made a template to the other side. So this is another area where you have to have this piece right, because you can't build up this area. I can put a little more bulge in that, and I think I will. That's probably a little bit flat. I can bend it up. But what I'm saying is you can't build up on an edge like that. Yeah. You can't build up on any of this edge, because it's just like a folded over two thickness of metal. So you can't like make it, you know, 1/4 inch thick or something. It won't work with the rubber underneath, and it'll look silly anyway and look dodgy. So, but anyway, that's the only issue at the back here now is this. So I'll get that in. But so there's another issue too, in that I'm already getting low on gas, and yeah, something too, because I've got this large bottle, you know, and I'm trying to roll, when I pack it up, I've got to roll all the cords up around the bottle, and I'm lifting it up over the top, and in the process I've bumped the gauge. Turn it. See, normally where I have it is just into the green a little bit, you know. That's probably even a little more now. See, I bumped that again when I was packing it up. But yeah, I looked up last time I was using it, and yeah, this gauge, it only goes down to about there, and that's where it runs out. So yeah, like a full one's right up here somewhere. So I'm already getting low on gas. But yeah, and I shouldn't be. I haven't done that much welding, but as I said, the problem is that I've bumped this, and the last time I looked at it was right up top of the green, so I've been wasting gas. And yeah, gas is expensive. That bottle is like $230. So yeah, that's the other thing. I don't want to be doing any more cutting and welding on it if I can help it. Yeah. Yeah, the other thing I want to speak about, went to a bug show today, and yeah, took me bug, and yeah, started running low. Used a heap of fuel. We'll flip you over on the camera for a little while. And yeah, used way more fuel than I should have, and I was actually running, you know, I'm in Tasmania too, and on the back road, which is yeah, you got a good 50 k's with no garages, and yes, I was concerned that whether I was actually going to make it home, and I stopped halfway. Like, I had an issue before with it using a lot of fuel, and it was actually leaking fuel, and I'll fix that problem by running the 2 lines. I've now got a return line from me Weber carby, which is how it was designed to run. I thought about getting a fuel regulator, pressure regulator, but no, this is sort of easier, and yeah, it's not gonna. It's a bit more fail safe, you know. Like every gadget that you put on something is something that can fail on you. So yeah. But anyway, as I said, so I checked that and it wasn't leaking anywhere. And then took off again, and it wasn't even running that well. And then I went and checked on the choke, because I had used the choke. I actually ran it out of fuel. I didn't make it up the garage the day before, and I'd used the choke trying to get it going again. And the choke hadn't fully shut off, so I'd just driven like 100 k's or so with the choke half on. And I've been thinking too about how I've set up the air filter on it, and because it comes out at the top of the carby and then draws from the side, so the air's probably coming in, hitting the choke butterflies, and restricting the airflow into it anyway. So yeah, I don't really need the choke, even midwinter. All I got to do is go out, pump the throttle a couple of times, and it'll fire up. And the choke's sort of pretty useless anyway. Like, even with the choke on, when it's cold, it won't idle. So yeah, I think I'm going to disconnect the choke, just take it right off, remove the butterflies, and I'll have to leave the shafts in, otherwise it'll suck air in around the shaft, or in through the shaft holes. But I'm going to take the butterflies out and everything. And I'm also been wondering how I'm going to go towing this trailer, you know. Is it going to be too heavy? Anybody who knows Volkswagens, drives a fairly standard bug, knows they don't have a lot of power, you know, and they're really bad, hill detectors. And like next time I go up the freeway to Sydney, I don't want to be, back to 50 mile an hour on a hill, which is 80k. And I've got the other motor that I've started rebuilding. I've reground the crank and got new bearings and a couple other bits and pieces, but I've still got to buy camshaft lifters, etc. And the casings themselves are shot. I put the camshaft in it, and 2 of the bearings, 2 of the mains fit tight, and 3 are loose. So the casing's all warped to the shit. So I could get it line board, but you're looking $500+ to do that. And the casing's not that good anyway. It's had studs pulled out, and it's got other issues. So just going to try and get another casing. But I'm still just sort of debating whether to get a standard cam or a bigger cam. However, there's like $200-300 difference in the price. Along with the camshaft too. There's 2 problems you get with the camshaft on a Volkswagen. One is like any car, they wear down, and they wear the lifters down. And but the other problem is that the camshaft runs the oil pump, and it runs it off a slot in the end of the camshaft. And probably because they don't center exactly or something like that, you've got like an 8mm slot in the camshaft and a 6mm shaft on the oil pump, so it's loose to begin with. But they always chew out, and I've looked at a few engines now that have been pulled down, and they're all worn out. All of them are chewed out where the oil pump runs in the camshaft. So yeah, along with the camshaft, you got to buy an oil pump as well. Even though there's nothing wrong with the oil pump itself other than wear on the shaft where it fits into the cam. So, and you know, I bought little lamb bearings, but they don't fit the pins. The pins are worn as well. I can't. I've got a suggestion as to where I can buy the pins on their own, but you know, Just Campers where I buy most of my parts for, and they've been pretty good. I can't criticise them. Yeah, they've been really good. But yeah, they don't sell piston pins on their own. They only sell them in whole top end kits, and yeah, but so I've got to get these little end bearings in the rods, get them honed before I put the bottom end together. So that's another job I've got to do. The other thing I'm wondering about, I've been looking at these. You can get high lift rollers. So instead of changing to a high lift cam, you can get rockers that they change. How do you explain it? They change the position of where they fit onto the like so you can't where the rocker meets the valve has to stay the same length, but they shorter, it'd have to be shorter. They shorten the position out to the push rod so that it gives it more lift. And that sounds good in theory, and but I haven't seen any reviews. I haven't seen any videos of anybody who's put any of those in as to whether they're not that expensive. I was going to say whether they're worth the money. They're not that expensive, but how much of a difference they make. There's also the option of you can buy ported heads, but they're a mega amount of money. But I've got 2 sets of heads. So if I could find enough specs and details on how to port them, I could port them myself. And as I said, I've got a spare set of heads in case I ruin them. If I muck them up, well, then I've got another set of heads to fall back on. So that's another option. Because I've got this 2-stage, what they call a progressive Weber carby. It's a 32-36, and I've used these on Jap cars, and they make a major difference to Jap cars, but hasn't really made that much of a difference to the bug. It's given me about an extra 10 mile an hour of cruising speed on the freeway, probably a little more acceleration, but it's not really that noticeable. I mean, it's still better. It's better than the standard carby. Like the standard Solex. I did have a Stromberg. I had a grey motor Stromberg, and that worked well enough. So I think the Weber's given it a little more than the Stromberg. The Stromberg was better than the Solex. But I had a red motor Stromberg as well, like the one I got on there is a grey motor. The red motor one just had a major flat spot in it. It'd idle well, and it'd go great at flat out, like mega amount of power when it was flat out, but it just not much in between, just had a mega flat spot. But considering that was a majorly old carby, like both of them were old, and I cleaned both of them up with heated vinegar and whatever, but a red carb, what I'm getting to is that a red motor Stromberg in better condition may still work and work better than the Weber is doing. But anyway, I think, as I said, the issue with the Weber is that the because I made my own manifold, and I think I've still got too much volume in the manifold. I think I made it too big. So that's another thing I'm considering, is probably getting like an empty manifold, or actually there's another company that makes them too. And I followed their suggestions on the jets for this Weber, because the standard jetting just wasn't going to work. Just, yeah, had a major flat split. But even their suggestions were still underpowered, like terribly. So I've had to go, well, their suggestion was a 125 primary main. I've gone to 175, to make it sort of run efficiently. And that's, I got a bit of a basic understanding of it, but it's to do with the airflow, the volume of airflow, and it's still restricted in the rest of the manifold, even though I ported it a little bit in the standard alloy manifolds where my homemade manifold fitted into. But it's still got, big restrictions in the head and all the rest of it, so it really doesn't have the airflow to pull the fuel out of the Weber. Like, it doesn't have the airflow that the Weber is designed for. So I've had to, as I said, increase the jetting a lot just to make it work. So there's a few things I want to change in that too, or would like to try, but as I said, it all comes back to how much I can afford, what I can, how I'm going to fund it. So as I said, I'm not looking for a 10-second quarter race car, or I'm not a burnout person, especially in a bug. You just damage things if you try and do stupid things like that anyway. But what I'm looking for is just to be able to do 110k, 70 mile an hour on the freeway, and be able to get up over the hills still doing at least 100 or 60 mile an hour up the hills. At the moment, some of the hills, like even on the freeway, I'm like back to 45 mile an hour, third gear. So that's basically all I want to achieve, is just be able to keep up with the traffic on the freeway, especially when I've got the trailer on. So anyway, it's probably enough rambling for now, and so anybody who's watching who's done a bit of work on bugs and has got any suggestions how to get maximum power with the least amount of money, I'd be really happy to hear about it, or point me to some videos on it, or anything like that would be good. And what'll do, rambled on enough. Thanks for watching. Bye.